You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 313, Saturday. Reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira defends his title against number one contender Magomed Ankalaev, and an explosive lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Pazzi. UFC 313, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNPlus.com/PPV.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Welcome to the Hockey Show. Thank you for joining us. My name is Roy. That's David, Rose, and Ethan. All right. We are here. I don't want to hear any complaints about my intro.
No,
all right?
better than last week.
It was better.
That wasn't a complaint. That was a compliment.
Okay. All right. Backhanded. Slapshots. Hot takes.
Goodness
David,
gracious.
go.
All right. My hot take this week, no video. This is just me letting out some gas.
What?
It's
Not in this room.
It's trade deadline day, right?
Yeah.
That's we're all excited about trade deadline day. Why are there hockey games on trade deadline day? Why is there anything other than trade deadline on trade deadline day? It should be just trade deadline. There should be some kind of moratorium on trades for like a couple of days leading up to it so that there's a big backlog and we have a big thing today. And the trade deadline itself should not be at 3 o'clock in the middle of the afternoon. It should be in prime time so we can sit here all day watching things happen and then get together for the big finale at the end of the day. We're already super hyped about trade deadline day. I think they need to soup it up like the Super Bowl and make it a whole thing. That's NHL, your move.
You know who does this right? Major League Baseball. Because they do trades in game. And once the trade comes down, the phone call to the dugout.
It's the best. Hug watch.
I love it.
Hug watch.
And then the fielders, if they're on defense, come on in.
Nah.
And then everybody, if it's a home game, everybody gives a standing ovation. Hey, thank you for your time here. Yeah.
Hockey's too serious for that, man. Can you imagine that on a hockey bench during a game as there's like line changes going on?
Can you imagine a line change?
Yeah, like it's... Yeah.
That's crazy. My hot take is we still don't know what goaltender interference is.
That's not a hot take, Roy.
I love it. I love it.
It's like a balk in baseball. I have no
It's like
idea
a
what
balk in baseball.
I have no idea what's going on.
We know what a balk in baseball is, though.
No, I don't. I'm 26 years old. I have no idea what a balk is. I'm also 26, and I have no idea what goalie interference is.
I'll explain the balk rule to you later, but this is from Flames Panthers. All right, this, and then Panthers. The Panthers have a streak going of goals being challenged.
What is it, like 5 games now or something? 6 games? It's crazy.
5.
Yeah.
That was insane. That saved by Vladar.
That wasn't a save. That was a goal.
What happened with that? What was going on with Batard?
All right, Kevin Ball forced Carter Verhaeghe into the crease, right? Forced him into the crease. Did not allow him to exit. This has been happening
trying to get away,
recently.
and
He's
he
trying
can't
to get
leave.
out.
And then the goalie takes his place, falls backwards, somehow, right, where is it? There, catches the puck. Yes,
behind
it's
the
in
goal line.
Behind the goal line.
Behind the goal.
And
That's
this is
goal.
something side issue for me. I think every single goalie should have black laces in their glove instead of white laces, because that way, in a situation like this,
cheating.
No, it's not cheating. Bullshit, that's not cheating.
Bullshit, that's not
That's
cheating.
part of your equipment. You can't do what Patrick Waugh used to do and have giant jerseys and freeze the the underarm.
yeah, right.
Can't do that anymore. But you can put black laces in your glove to hide the puck in those situations, so that's not a question.
All right, so do you want position players' sticks to not have black tape because that's hiding the puck? Technically.
Yeah, but from what? And I don't care.
For the goaltender.
And there's no rule against that either.
Okay, all right, fine.
So,
Biased.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
way too low. You need to boost that up, by the way.
All right.
Yeah.
There's my hot take on your hot take.
All right, Ethan.
Boys, it's deadline day, and
That's why
I've got
we're
a hot
here.
take for
You
you from
definitely
the
practiced that
deadline.
in the
Yeah, you did.
today.
You practiced that in the
Oh,
bathroom
I've
this
been
morning,
thinking
didn't
about
you?
it all morning.
In the shower.
All morning.
Oh.
I wanted to play the sounder, but I don't have control over that. We let Rose have control over the sounds for some reason. I don't know why we did that.
Producer.
Anyway, boys, my hot take has to do with the deadline, obviously, and it's that this Mikko Rantanen situation, this trade by the Carolina Hurricanes, is going to go down as one of the worst trades, not only in recent memory, possibly, but maybe in the history of the National Hockey League.
Are we talking like Chris Wells? For
Okay, maybe not.
Stu
Okay,
Barnes
in recent. Let's stick with in recent. Let's go with in
All
recent
three
memory.
of the Panthers trade.
Let's go with in recent memory, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Carolina is a legitimate, everybody believes, is a legitimate contender to make a run. I don't know that they're a Stanley Cup contender. Realistically, we've seen what they do in the playoffs, but everybody seems to think that they're one of these teams that they're there every year. So, yes, they're a factor in the Stanley Cup race. They go out, they make this big move for Rantanen, and it seemed at the time like this was going to be them finally getting that star player that they've been missing. They've never had an 100-point player in franchise history.
Right.
They give up a whole lot to do it. Natchez is a really good player, and he's been awesome since going to Colorado. And it's made them look really bad with how good he's been since he's been on a line with Nathan McKinnon. It's almost like that helps, right? Rantanen, obviously, 6 points since the trade and everything that's gone on around it. Now we don't know if they're going to move him before the deadline. And if they do, it depends on what they get back. There's been rumors about we don't know exactly what they would get back. But either way, if they move him and they end up not even making a run at the Stanley Cup, they have him on their team for about 2 weeks. It feels like, right? Like
It's fireable.
Yeah, it's a fireable offense by Eric Tulsky to make this move because, it seems like they kind of got scared of what happened with Jake Gensel last year. You can't do that. You have to make a run at the Stanley Cup with Mikko Rantanen. So to only have him on your team for, 12 games or something like that? 13 games, something like that? It would go down as an absolute disaster. If I'm them, keep him on my team and make a run. If it doesn't work out in the offseason, whatever. At least I took a shot at it. But to trade him away, it's almost cowardly. I just think this will go down as one of the worst trades that we have seen recently.
That's hot. That's a hot take right there. Rosie.
Thank you, Ethan. You gave me my second hot take of today. You take too long for a hot take. It's
Whoa.
hot take.
Jeez. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
But no, my real hot
spicy.
take. Yeah. My real hot take is Roy's going to go learn how to play hockey. And I have a feeling he's going to be good. And then his ego is going to go up.
No,
So that
I don't have
See,
an
that's
ego.
a backhanded hot take.
That is yes,
is
it is.
my hot take. That I think he's going to be good. Like, I think people are...
Why is that a hot take?
Because
He's an
people-
athlete.
No,
He's 6
because
feet
people-
tall.
No, because
that's-
a lot of people think no, but I think he's gonna be very, very good.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm 6'2", 190. That's a perfect height and weight for a hockey
Yeah.
player. I think Claire's going to be better than me, though. I can tell you that right now. But I appreciate you saying that. I disagree. I think I'm going to suck.
We're
There
going to
you
get
go.
on the ice. I'm
That's
going to
why
put
it's
on
a
the
hot
goalie
take.
gear. You're going to wear all your player gear. We're going to have a little fun.
Oh yeah, yes, we're going to have a
Oh
little
yeah,
fun.
you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be we're gonna keep you updated.
I can't wait for that.
And David and I are and Ethan are gonna be your announcers.
Oh, great. So that gets started around playoff time. So that's going to suck if there's a game on the same day.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure that out. Wins of the week, David.
My win of the week, we're going back to the outdoor game in Columbus over the weekend.
Yeah.
That was actually a really fun game. The Blue Jackets beat the Red Wings, and I don't think they've won since. But during the game, Red Wings coach Todd McClellan, who is just a general fun, cool guy, it seems, he had a little chirping for Showtime Patrick Kane on the bench. I think we have the video if we can play that.
Did you block one? So, hey,
Did you block one? Is that what you were chirping about? How'd that happen? Oh, you got a mark to prove it.
Oh, it's got bruise.
Pocket? So, I block, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we're gonna fake that. Yeah. I blocked the shot. Yeah.
No, but that's what Patrick Kane, one of the best players in the league. He's been around forever, Hall of Fame bound. Not above getting chirped by his coach.
Yeah, that you gotta love. You gotta love a coach who chirps, man. Not like Mike Babcock or anybody like that.
No, he doesn't chirp. He just shits on you.
Yeah. That's not a very good image to have in my head. Thanks. All right, my win of the week. Spencer Knight was traded from the Florida Panthers to the Chicago Blackhawks. He had his first game recently, and it was a special one, although the defense in front of Chicago probably should shore that up. 41 saves in a 5-1 victory over the Los Angeles Kings, and the team celebrating in the locker room.
All right, good game, boys. Ready to battle at the end. That's an easy one tonight.
Is that like a tool belt?
Championship belt. Oh, yeah, it's a tool belt.
Home improvement.
We've got a great group here. You know what? It's never first place or last. We're going to build really hard.
Did you see the interview with him on the bench?
No, I did not.
Game? Oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen him like that like that long of a giant smile. His face was lit up. He looked so happy. Like that made me really, really happy to see him so happy after the way everything played out. You know?
Yeah, I missed that man already. I mean, he should have been the next one. But it didn't work out. But his time here, he's a Stanley Cup champion.
And now he can be the next one for your Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Which would, if he's not going to do it with the Panthers.
Might as well do it for the Blackhawks.
Go do it in the Western Conference.
Yeah,
Is that
do it in the
your
Western
other team?
Conference.
The Blackhawks are your second team?
Yeah, I was originally a Blackhawks fan when I started following hockey and then added the Buffalo Sabres to that repertoire because they're in the Eastern Conference. And then we got a hockey team.
How did you get the...
Oh, wow. Mine is this.
We don't need to go into it.
This is playoffs. This is all playoffs because I started watching hockey when the playoffs started. So that's how that worked.
Mine are the Seattle Kraken.
It is a good uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good uniform. Ethan, your win of the week.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm so happy for Spencer Knight, and I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope he has all the success in the world in Chicago. All right, my win of the week, more young guys, rookies around the NHL. First one, Matvei Michkov. Did you guys see what he did to Connor Hellebuck? How silly he makes Connor Hellebuck look in the shootout right here. Kid's a legitimate Calder Trophy candidate. There are some really serious Calder Trophy candidates this year. Him, Macklin Celebrini. I think Dustin Wolf in Calgary deserves some shout too. He's been awesome. But look, this is the best goaltender in the world. This isn't any schlub. This is Connor Hellebuck that he just absolutely crossed up right there, made look silly.
Coming in with hands like that and then dropping the shoulder mid-deke is not
nasty.
Easy. And that's why you saw Connor Hellebuck's hips kind of fall out of his goalie pants for a second there. That was pretty smooth.
Yeah, Michkov is absolutely filthy.
I'm sorry, but if you do that to a goaltender, that other team should get a power play. That's ridiculous.
I believe it was in a shootout. So, but still,
well, there would be a power play
filthy.
in a shootout.
Absolutely filthy. All right, and then my other winner, the San Jose Sharks. How much fun are the San Jose Sharks? Right. So
they're having fun.
We have a text here from Tyler Toffoli to his wife, which says, "I got to have a sleepover with Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini tonight." His wife is like, "What are you talking about?" Will said on the bus last night, if all three of us score, I have to sleep over with them. This was against the Buffalo Sabres, before their game against the Buffalo Sabres. Sure as hell, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, and Tyler Toffoli all score in this game. And what happens? Let's see this Instagram post here.
I love the text. Like
follow through. All three of them have a sleepover. They rolled a cot. I mean, this is more than a cot. This is a full-on, pull-away bed here they've got for Tyler Toffoli. But Tyler Toffoli posts on his Instagram, reporting for duty. Will Smith comments, a bet is a bet. I love this stuff. This is great team camaraderie here. And the Sharks are they're bad. They're really, really bad.
But they're really fun.
really, really fun. And these guys are having a great time. And so the San Jose Sharks, I love these young kids we've got coming up in the NHL right now. And Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, and Matvei Michkov are three of the best. So
were they wearing pajamas?
They were up giggling all night long. just laughing like idiots. They said they were up until 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning? They got practice.
I can't even stay up that late now.
No, you can't do that. Rosie.
My win of the week, of course, it comes from the one and only Sasha Barkov against the Lightning, where the same game where Dan banged the banger.
The drum?
The drum, sorry.
The banger. He was the banger
Yeah.
of the drum.
Look at that, look at that man. Look at his beauty, and then, and that assist, and goal. Everything
Alexander Barkov had 2 goals in that game, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys.
Exactly. And I missed them.
What if we had a sleepover?
No.
No, porque I cannot.
In the studio.
No, because if not, I cannot be there because I cannot have a sleepover with you guys. No, don't do it.
Just in the studio.
Co-ed
Just the
sleepover?
4 of us.
No.
I'll take a couch. Somebody can take the table.
What are
in
we
here,
watching on our sleepover?
Under where Willow usually sits.
What would we watch?
Miracle.
Miss
We're watching
Congeniality.
Miracle.
Miracle?
Yeah.
What did you say? Miss Congeniality?
Yeah.
Oh, but Miss Congeniality
Sandy-
2
with
is her
Sandy?
favorite.
Well, yeah, I do like that William Shatner is in the Miss Congeniality
The
movie.
thing
He's
is,
pretty funny in
one
it.
time Lucy asked me, "Hey, which one is your favorite comedy movie?" But my favorite, it's in Spanish. So she was like, "No, one in English that I know." So I'm like, Miss Congeniality 2. So
The sequel, not even the original.
Yeah. Oh, it's
It's
funny.
rare. One of the rare instances where the sequel holds up to the original.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Terminator 2. Yeah, okay.
Okay, now we can go to our fail of the week.
Terminator and Godfather are like the top of that list.
Fails of the week, David. For crying out loud.
All right, my fail of the week comes from another Panther game this week. Jake Gensel, you poor guy. First, he gets high sticked, an uppercut high stick in the goal, right in the top of the goal crease.
Double
from
minor on that one.
But now look, Braden Point comes in. Gensel's on the ice in pain. Doink! Hits him right in the head with a shot. Like in the span of 5 seconds, not even, the guy takes a stick to the mouth, gets a puck to the head. Thank goodness it was a backhand shot.
Yeah, if that was a wrister, even if that was a snapshot, that would be a lot worse.
Oh, man. It would have cracked his head like Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. But I just felt bad for Jake Gensel. And then they didn't even score on the power play.
They didn't score on any power plays in that game.
No, they did not.
No, they did not. My fail of the week, the New York Islanders. This has been like
Again?
3 weeks in a row. Yes.
We're going to start getting mail from the Islanders. Like, why are you hating on us so much?
They know why I'm hating on them.
Poor Matt Barzal.
Poor Matt Barzal. I'm going to continue this into the regular season probably because embarrassing moments happen to them a lot. This is what happened to him. All right, so
That did off his head.
It's a great header.
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. That went off his head. The Islanders were at the Garden against the Rangers, and a deflected puck bounced off the head of Will Cooley and into the net.
It's a shame he wasn't more headstrong.
Now the Islanders, lost to the Rangers again. They are 0-3-0 against the Rangers. The Rangers are 3-0-0 against the Islanders this season. Have won by a combined score of 14-3.
He'll never be the head of a major corporation.
That header was good enough to make Olivier Giroud blush.
Okay.
That was a great hitter. My fail of the week, this guy. I'm so tired of this guy. Matt Rempe.
He is too tall.
It's ridiculous already. It's enough. This is a nasty hit. I have no idea how he got suspended for it. Of course, he gets his ass whooped in a fight like he always
Because
does.
he can't
He's
fight.
not actually a good fighter. He's just big. Look at this. Extends the arm, comes in right to the chin. I mean, he's prepping to throw this elbow at the bottom of the face-off dot, basically, already. At the goal line, he's got his elbow out there right to the chin. I have no idea how this wasn't a suspension in the first place. Then you take his history into account. It's getting ridiculous. I'm getting into, throw this guy out of the league territory. It is crazy how continually does shit like this every single time he's on the ice, seemingly. It's terrible.
John Scott, Tage Thompson, Zdeno Chara. These are all tall guys. And they haven't done half the stuff that this guy, Matt Rempe, has done.
No, he doesn't really have the hockey skills that. John Scott.
He doesn't have the hitting
He's
skills.
not a hockey player. He's just a big dude. He literally just skates around throwing his giant body into people and injuring people and throwing dangerous hits like this. This was almost going to be my hot take to throw him out of the league, but I had something else for trade deadline day. Look, it's crazy that this is still persisting. He needs to figure his shit out and stop trying to hurt people.
Yeah, it was fun last year when he first came up, and it was like, who is this mammoth guy fighting Ryan Reeves? And that was, I enjoyed it. But I think now it's the novelty is worn off, and if it's just going to be him hurting guys,
it's dangerous.
I said the same thing about Ryan Hartman. And we're in that situation right now. He's a repeat offender, and it's time that the league actually does something about this.
You got to protect your players.
Yeah. Rosie.
Prepare to be dazzled.
Prepare to be
Flyers
dazzled.
cannot overcome Sam Erson's rough start. So they
Yeah.
lose to the Flames 6-3. And he played the least in this game because he was pulled at minute 9. He only had 2 saves, and the other goalie had 25. So I think that was a fail of the week because it was just a 40%
Wow.
thing. Look
So
at my stats.
the pulling of a goaltender.
So the effort by Sam Erson.
yeah.
Rosie digging into the box score
look
here
at that.
today.
I'm impressed.
Amazing.
And
I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well bring up the Maple Leafs Golden Knights game.
hey, that's my fail of the week, and good for the Flames. They had a 3 streak of losing, but they already lost to the Dallas,
hadn't
so
been
maybe
scoring much,
they're
so-
just gonna get again into that path. But look at me, numbers 60-40.
Look at Rose.
60-40.
And she said his name right, too. Samuel Erson. Like, that
Oh,
was,
did I? Oh, nice.
You
Be
did.
proud of yourself.
Yeah, thank you
That
very
was-
much.
Your fail was a win.
Wow. That's hockey numbers for you because I got someone saying you interrupt without hockey things. I'm like, I know hockey. I'm backy.
Coming up next, Nick Alberga from the NHL is going to join us to talk about trade deadline day.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Mattel, Heinz, or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business, making and selling, and for shoppers, buying. Simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. No one does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Batard, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Batard to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Batard.
Nick Alberga works for the NHL, and it's trade deadline day, so we are going to go through the trades right quick. But before we do that, nobody talks about the human aspect of these things, of being traded from team to team. And this tweet from Lexi Brown, who's the Seattle Kraken's analyst JT Brown's wife, basically sums it up perfectly. We always see these players as commodities that you can keep and drop and transfer, right? So we never talk about them being traded. So this tweet from Lexi Brown, the worst part of the trade deadline is when you get your bestie traded. Like, I don't care if her husband is almost an unrestricted free agent having the season of his career and has been traded to a cup contender. Her and I have brunch this weekend. Like, this is a family situation, right? The kids are in school and everything. I mean, it's the middle of February. It's the middle of school for them. So what exactly happens when a player gets traded? How does the family react to this, Nick?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I think I always like to humanize situations. Again, thank you for having me. When you look at trades go down in any sport, specifically the NHL, you sort of take that aspect out because you're just looking for your team to get better. But the humanizing part is always a peculiar situation, especially for somebody who has a family, has a wife, has kids, the relocation. There's so many moving parts that people don't really stress or look at behind the scenes. Like a guy automatically I thought about as you asked that question was Luke Schenn the other day. Signs a 3-year deal with Nashville, and now in year 2 he gets dealt to the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that's on the outside looking in when it comes to a playoff spot. And it's like, what do? Are you going to stay in Pittsburgh? Are they going to, pawn him off again? There's just so many moving parts. So that is an astute point to bring up. It's an important point to bring up too.
Nick, I wanted to talk to you about the team as we look at your background, the team that you cover, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the team in your backyard. I know we're not going to get too much into the deadline, things to happen because timing of recording this and everything. Toronto, I feel like just based off what's happened already, Florida's been very busy. A lot of teams in both the Atlantic and the Metro have been busy leading up to the deadline. Toronto, not so much lately as I don't know, are they leading the Atlantic today? Are they 1 point back? I'm not sure.
2 points back after the Panthers won on Thursday.
Thank you, Ethan. Amazing contribution to the segment. So being that Toronto's right there, they've been in, first or second all year. Are they going after a center? Like, what moves do they need to make for you to feel comfortable for them heading into the playoffs?
Well, firstly, I'll say it's an utter grind, right? You look at 1 through 3 right now in the Atlantic Division, separated by 3 points. Those pesky Tampa Bay Lightning, they just win and win and win. Every team in this division, quite frankly, the top 3 just win and win and win. To answer your question, I think it's been a goal for the brain trust of this organization to get a top 9 center, if you will. And that's been sort of the focus since, I think, day 1 of the season. That hasn't changed. Recently, it's been Max Domi up the middle. He's had a very disappointing season. He's better suited to play on the wing. So that's probably where I would look from the Maple Leafs perspective. I'm not sure if they're going to go big or go small. It is a seller's market. So I don't know at this point in time as we have this conversation if they want to pay the piper, pay the price to get a Lawton, to get a Braden Shen. So maybe they bite around the edges a bit. Maybe a Luke Cunnin in San Jose makes sense. Like there's going to be some fits. I think Toronto's going to make, something happen here, whether it's a blue liner, a center, or both. But I think, there's a lot of, people wondering how big the move is going to be. And I just don't know what it's going to look like, considering, as you mentioned, I think there has to be an element of response considering what the Panthers and Lightning have done this week.
What will need to happen for you to feel confident with Toronto heading into the playoffs? Because obviously, I feel like every year it's shit or get off the pot for Toronto. But as competitive as you just mentioned, as competitive just as the Atlantic Division is, let alone the entire conference, like what needs to happen for you to be confident, like, okay, this could be our year?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question because I'm not a big believer in the trade deadline to begin with. Like I'm in the minority where I think the guys internally can get the job done. I don't care if they add. I think at the end of the day, there are 4 players you pay on your roster in excess of $40 million per season. If they pull their weight in the playoffs, this team could go very, very far. They have the goaltending this year. As you guys know, Anthony Stolarz in Florida backing up Sergei Bobrovsky. He's been impeccable this season, a great 1-2 combo with Joseph Wall. We have OEL in the mix now. Like he's been a very hard-nosed, steady, stay-at-home type guy. Tana has been a great addition. I feel really, really good and comfortable for the first time in a long time with Toronto's blue line, their crease. And the big story this time of year or playoff time for the Maple Leafs, can they score enough? And that still remains a question, again, which gets back to the broader point about the big guys. Can they elevate? Can they be difference makers? Nylander, Matthews, Marner, Tavares. I think therein lies the answer. I think people are making way too much the conversation about who are they going to add when they're not looked directly in the mirror, and I think they should.
All right, let's talk about what the Florida Panthers did just this week. Over the span of 6 days, all right, it was started March 1st. They got Seth Jones and a 4th-round pick in 2026 from Chicago for Spencer Knight and a 2026 first-round pick. Now they traded Knight. They needed a backup goaltender. They had to call up Chris Driedger. Now, to do that, they needed money in the salary cap, so they had to move. Yeah, they had to make a little move of Matthew Tkachuk going to a long-term injured reserve. All right, so they had to do that to get the money. They signed Jesper Boquist to a 2-year contract, and then they acquired Vitek Vanacek from San Jose for Patrick Giles. They signed Jesse Puljujarvi to a 2-way contract, and then they acquired Nico Sturm in a 2027 7th-round draft pick from San Jose for a 2026 4th-round pick, and acquired Kaapo Kähkönen from the Jets for Chris Driedger, who
sending him back home.
Send him back home. So, yeah, kind of busy. And they're not done because they have $4.1 million left in the cap to make a move. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think Florida still has one more move up their sleeves. I don't know who it's going to be. I think they were in on Mikko Rantanen. We'll see how that situation plays out. I could see a Rickard Rakell. I think somebody who makes money, and I think it works out perfectly, not to stress. But the injury to Matthew Tkachuk is a polarizing one. It's a big one. It's important. Like if Matthew Tkachuk can't play in the playoffs, the Panthers, I think, are in big time trouble. But I like what they've done. I think they've been missing a guy since Brandon Montour left for Seattle. Like they just haven't been able to replace Montour at all. And you bring in a guy, a motivated, a hungry guy like Seth Jones. I think he's going to be a perfect fit on that team. Let's not forget Ekblad and Sam Bennett are free agents following this season, so there could be a bit of roster turnover, but they fortified the crease a bit. We all know it's Bobrovsky's crease, but you're going to need some guys to play some games down a stretch to keep him fresh. That's why they brought in Vanacek. You add some depth in Kähkönen behind him. And Nico Sturm's a guy who's not really talked about a lot, but he's like a depth guy who I think you could rely on a bit down the stretch and maybe into the Stanley Cup playoffs. You can never have enough depth across your roster And that's become crystal clear in how Bill Zito and company feel about this Florida Panthers team. But I think without question, they put themselves in a position to potentially repeat this season, not to mention who they have to go through, as you guys talked about, in the Atlantic Division, whether it's Tampa, whether it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they're in a really good position, and I'm still looking for that next move for the Panthers here.
Nick, I have a question. I don't know much about hockey, but don't you think doing the trade of Spencer Knight was a bold move, since Bobrovsky is going to be gone, soon?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I was wondering the same thing. But I think to get a defenseman like Seth Jones, you have to give up. And I thought it was actually a pretty good piece of business by Chicago, because it sounded like Jones only wanted to go to Dallas or Florida. And the fact that one of those two teams picks up the phone, offers Spencer Knight, who's had a volatile start to his career. Granted, he's 23, right? So yeah. I think once he gets to the age of 25, 26, I think he fits more in line with what Chicago's starting to build or trying to build. Where like Florida, it's cup or bust every season. Not to mention, I understand what you're asking. Bobrovsky's got a couple years left on his contract, but the way things are trending, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's been awesome the last couple years. I could easily see the Panthers bringing back Bobrovsky just because of his importance to the team. His play hasn't dipped whatsoever. So that's the way I looked at it. I think you're bettering your roster on the back end, and you have a really, really strong asset that teams are always looking for in a young prospect, elite netminder. And so I thought it was very smart by both sides.
Nick, you mentioned Mikko Rantanen and the possibility that the Florida Panthers were looking into him. Doesn't seem like that's really going anywhere, but it does seem like Mikko is going to be on the move again. Where would this rank in terms of all-time bad trades if the Carolina Hurricanes end up without Mikko Rantanen for the rest of the season?
So that's a really good question, because part of me is props to the Carolina Hurricanes for taking their swing. We saw the same thing last year when they picked up Jake Guentzel from Pittsburgh, didn't work out, didn't re-sign him. And now we saw that, out of nowhere, a trade where I think it's insane that you make a trade for Mikko Rantanen, you give up Natchez, you gave up Drury, you give up a pick, and you don't even ask him if he's looking to re-sign or what his numbers are. But now it sounds like Dallas is doing the same thing. Are these GMs just hoping on a prayer that the guy's going to come there? And I think in Dallas's point of view, and you guys know this in Florida, I think the state tax will work in their benefit. And I think they'll find a way, just my opinion, to get this deal past the finish line when it comes to the Dallas Stars. But to answer your question full circle, got to wait until I see the potential return. If it's Dallas, banding a lot of people I know in the industry last night, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty decent return if there's a extension attached to this, which it sounds like this deal is contingent on an extension. So I would look at Logan Stankoven, Wyatt Johnston, Maverick Bourque. At least one of those youngsters I think will be involved and recouped here from the Carolina Hurricanes. But it's a massive Joey Gallo swing and a miss, I would say, by the Canes here, guys. Nice. And that's a big whiff.
That was a good reference.
Big whiff, boys.
Do you think that, you mentioned the Guentzel trade, do you think that maybe that scared Carolina because all they were able to get was a 7th-round pick when they moved him to the Lightning right before? Do you think maybe they went too far in being scared, and instead of making a run at it with Mikko Rantanen and this great team you have, they got a little scared and were like, oh my God, we have to trade him?
Well, personally, I think what happened here is Sebastian Aho is best friends with Mikko Rantanen. Let's get his best friend into the fold, and he'll resign here, no problem. But then it's no, they sort of forget the internal cap. And Rantanen, I think, in the open market's getting probably over $14 million, and they come in with a lowball offer. What do you expect to happen? On top of that, I think if a guy's a couple months away from free agency, he's probably going to elect the market regardless of the team, specifically a team that we've all been known to nickel and dime people in the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's probably, what happened in that scenario. I think there are just so many moving parts to this thing, and I think the Guentzel one is one of them, because you think back at last year, and let's not forget it's Eric Tulsky now running the show, not Don Waddell. But for me, that would be lingering in the back of my mind, where it's I took this massive swing. I got Jake Guentzel, thought I'd re-sign him. It didn't work out. Now we've done it again with a bigger and more polarizing player. You have to find a way to bring in assets. I think it's a tough job, because Carolina, I think all would agree, are a bona fide cup contender. And now to turn on the fly the way they did the last couple of days is insanity to me. And it's, big conversation about asset management as well, guys.
Finally, the New York Rangers have scratched and clawed their way back to a playoff spot. They are tied with the Ottawa Senators. Currently, Ottawa has a game at hand. That's why they owned the wild card spot. What are they going to do during this trade deadline? Because they've already put Chris Kreider on IR.
Yeah, the Rangers are fascinating to me because we have this conversation every day. I'm sure you guys do, covering the Panthers. Who's the first round opponent going to be? And the Rangers, I think, are in the periphery of a wild card position. Maybe they move up now with New Jersey losing Jack Hughes for the season. Dougie Hamilton's out long term. But they would scare me. I wish I had a crystal ball and answer for you, because Chris Drury, I have no clue what he's doing. It's been a tumultuous season. Having said that, JT Miller's been an awesome acquisition. I mean, as expected, he leaves Vancouver. He's turned back into the elite JT Miller, which is good news. But there's just so many guys up and down that roster who haven't played up to their potential. Among them is the goaltender. As you guys can allude to, you get solid goaltending, you can go very, very far in the playoffs. And I think when you look at the Rangers, you look at Igor Shesterkin, you look at Adam Fox, you look at Panarin, Zibanejad, there's so many star-studded players on that roster. You almost feel inclined to go for it, but it's been weird the last couple of days where they've moved some bodies in and out, and they've been linked to some other names. So I think they're trying to turn over their roster on the fly while recouping some picks with some guys they don't see there long term. So I know they've been linked to JJ Peterka, among others, with Buffalo. We'll see what the Rangers do, but you would have to think the mandate from the owner there is let's win every year, and I don't think that's changed at all this year.
It's a busy day for you, Nick. We appreciate you joining us.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
If you're a small business owner, you know how difficult it can be hiring the right people. And it can be a real grind. It takes the right partner to make sure you're getting the most qualified candidates. Well, got the right partner for you. LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free. Share it with your network and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, and we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. So, if you're a small business owner looking for the perfect hire, LinkedIn has you covered. With LinkedIn's new job posting feature, you can write job descriptions effortlessly and get your job in front of the right people using deep candidate insights. Quality matters. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn say it helps them find top talent. Join over 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire only on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, it's time to go into what the Panthers did this week as far as games played. And we're going to start with Saturday's game against the Calgary Flames, which they won 3-0. And that was Ryan Lundberg's return. And that was a special one because Lumby, they gave him the video, the tribute video, and then he did a lap on the ice.
No, you could tell that he didn't necessarily want to. He was just kind of waving at the crowd.
Well, Mackenzie
from
Weegar
the bench, and then Mackenzie Weegar waved him out. And when he took his lap, I mean, I was there for the Montour one. The Montour one was loud. I was also there for the Lomberg one. It didn't even compare. That was, and then late in that game, the Panthers were dominating. You got some "We want Lomberg" or "We miss Lomberg" chants or whatever it was. Like, he will forever be a fan favorite in Florida. It was an awesome moment for him.
And that was the only positive moment for the Flames in that game because, as Ethan said, they were completely dominated. I mean, look at the counting stats here. The Panthers had 42 shots on 76 attempts. The Flames had 23 shots on 42 attempts. So they locked them down defensively. Scoring chances, it was 41-12 in favor of the Panthers and 16-9 high danger. That's just terrible. And the Flames are not that far away. I mean, they're really, really close to the last spot in the playoffs in the Western Conference. So it's been bad for them.
Starting to see the Panthers go to that place that they like to go around playoff time. They're taking all their opponents there, Roy. You know what I'm talking about.
That was
Shutdown City.
Shutdown City.
That was one of my. I thought I left that game and I said that was the Panthers' best performance of the year. They absolutely dominated the Flames. Bobrovsky was amazing. Chances galore. If Vadar or whatever his name is didn't play
Vadar.
out of his mind, one of the craziest performances I've ever seen by a backup goaltender. That 3-0 scoreline was very flattering.
It should have been 6-0.
Yeah, as was a game later in the week.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit, but first, the big game. Yeah, the game against Tampa. You know, it was a bit quiet in that game, though. I mean, and not a lot of fisticuffs in that game, in my opinion.
A lot of hitting, a lot of physicality, but everybody was kind of behaving themselves. I think Paul Maurice kind of summed it up well afterwards that was like a playoff game.
It was.
Where like the last time they faced each other, there was a lot more of the extracurricular stuff. This time, both teams are fighting for their position. Tampa Bay's trying to get into the top two with Toronto and Florida in the Atlantic Division. And that was also a new guy's first game with the Panthers, and he fit in pretty well, too.
Yeah, Seth Jones' first game with the Panthers, although I would say the first period was not great for him or Nico Mikkola. Mikkola took 2 penalties in that period, and they weren't good ones either. But, hey.
Allowed Jones the chance to step up on the PK.
Yeah.
He had over 4 minutes of penalty kill time that night. Florida went up, 7 for 7 on the penalty kill against Tampa, and Tampa has the best power play in the league on the road.
Yeah.
4th best overall. At least that's what it was when they played the game. So, I mean...
I'm going in. Penalty for time.
Turn on your mic when
Sorry,
you talk.
I told you
Did you hear that?
I was
It
gonna
sounded
go
like it came
in.
from a Bayside across the street there.
I'm so sorry. I told you I was going to go in. Sorry, CC, just justo. I know
All right, well,
you
look,
said,
we're through 2 of the 3 games. So
we're halfway done.
I know you
just
said
give us
that I wouldn't interrupt, but I told him prior to it, so.
All right, fine.
Go.
Fine. All right, the Lightning rode an 8-game winning streak into that game, and
that was a huge win for the Panthers because the Panthers could have been the Lightning could have basically caught the Panthers if they had won that game. They would be within a point right now.
Yeah.
That was a huge win for the Cats. That was a great performance. The third period was terrifying. Being down in that end, I was at that game because we got thank you to the Panthers for the tickets.
Terrifying to me
because Dan of course banged the drum that night, so we got some tickets and it was great. But anyway, the point being, I'm down in that end and 2 shots go right off the post. Everybody thought we're in on both of those shots. If either of those cross the line, the Panthers, or if both of those cross the line, the Panthers lose that game. So Bobrovsky was great. The Panthers were great, but they also kind of got away with one that night.
I don't know why it just doesn't feel terrifying to me. It doesn't feel terrifying anymore to me. I don't know.
They've kind of been pretty good in those
because nobody
situations.
scares us, Roy. Nobody scares us. Who scares you?
I'm saying us. Biased. By the way, Alexander Barkov, as Rosie pointed out earlier in the show, 2 goals.
2 snipes.
Yep.
Shoot the puck.
Yeah, he hit a post that game too.
Yeah, it should have been.
I'm not going to bleep that.
I like aggressive Barkey.
Thank you for not bleeping that. Yeah, we need more aggressive Barkov because he needs to shoot the puck. He's been too passive. You know, he's been trying to set up his teammates. He's been trying to set up Reinhardt.
He can do it all.
Been shooting it recently. It wasn't just that game. It was the game last night. He's shooting the puck more aggressively. And
Did they play last night?
He's been great.
They did.
Did something happen last night?
They played Columbus. That was also a big game.
Another
Columbus,
playoff team.
Yeah, another playoff team, and Panthers won 3-0. And there was a special team theme to this one because really the Panthers bullied Columbus. But earlier in this game, 3 penalties in the first 6 minutes, and one of them was from a challenge, which I understand why they tried to do it, but not in that situation. After giving them 2 penalties.
I don't know what they saw that let them think like that. Because usually, for these things, they're pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
But that one was, from every replay I saw, was way too hazy to see if the puck hit the netting. And that's tough to pick out anyway because, hey, black netting, black puck. Wake up, goaltenders. What I really loved about that game, and as I was watching it, I'm kind of thinking of it from a Columbus perspective, frustrating Like, they couldn't do anything. They had zero space with the puck. Florida, every single Panthers player was moving their feet. They were on top of the balls of their feet. Columbus is usually...
They shut them down early, really early.
Panthers outshot them 36-16.
Yeah, 16 saves for Sergei Bobrovsky. And really, I mean, you could have picked anybody else for a star in that situation, actually, how good that defense was for the Panthers.
I might have done okay in that game.
Yeah, I think so. Jonah Gadjevich, 2 fights in the first period.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that game was seeing Reinhart back on the score sheet. It had been 8 games, 12 if you include the Four Nations. Hadn't scored in a long time. Got back on the score sheet immediately. Had 2 assists in this game as well. Really great, another great performance by the Panthers. Like, could put it right up there with some of their best performances of the year. And it's good because, we'll take a look at this in a second. They've got a big stretch coming up. 6-game road trip after this game against Buffalo on Saturday.
They got 3 road trips left this season.
And it's Toronto is in here, Montreal is in here, the Islanders, Columbus, Washington. A lot of important games coming up for the Panthers.
A current affair.
Well, that's the breaking news sound.
So that's breaking news. I'm not going to be with you guys for 4 weeks, so it's just going to be hockey, so miss me.
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
For fuck's sake, dude. The Panthers have allowed more than 2 goals once in the last 8 games.
They gave up how many goals in those 3 games we just talked about?
I don't know. I don't have that stat.
They gave up 1 goal.
Yeah, just 1 goal in the
2
last 2
shutouts
games.
and the single goal to Tampa. So they're rounding into form at the right time of the season, Roy.
They haven't lost back-to-back games since January 11th and 13th, and since then they've won 14 of the last 19. They have had 1 losing streak this season. It was a 4-game losing streak earlier in the season. They've only lost back-to-back games 5 times this season. So when they lose, they quickly rebound.
Yep.
And in 6 games since the Four Nations break, they've allowed 1 goal or less in 4 of them.
Yeah.
They lost to the Kraken 2-1, and they let up 3 to Edmonton. Every other game, they've allowed 1 goal or less.
We got Buffalo. I said we again, bias.
That's okay.
The Panthers have Buffalo on Saturday. That is tomorrow. Buffalo has lost 5 in a row, including last night when they blew a 5-3 lead.
Buffalo starts the season on a 5-game losing streak. Like opening night, they've already lost 5 in a row. Like, Buffalo, come on.
I feel bad for them, man.
Like, they don't have any bad karma. They haven't signed any people that you hate.
Yeah, that's
Come
true.
on, Buffalo.
That's true, but still, it's just bad for no reason. Bad for no reason. I mean, they have to be bad. I feel bad for them. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And this is as a fan of the Sabres growing up, so I feel bad for them. But that's tomorrow, and that looks like a win for the Panthers. And I said that for the first matchup against the Buffalo Sabres, and of course, that did not happen. But anyway, that's the show. That's Dave. That's Rose.
Thank you very much for listening, people.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm trying to close the show here. I mean, come on.
If you're a small business owner, you know how difficult it can be hiring the right people. And it can be a real grind. It takes the right partner to make sure you're getting the most qualified candidates. Well, got the right partner for you. LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free. Share it with your network and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, and we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. So, if you're a small business owner looking for the perfect hire, LinkedIn has you covered. With LinkedIn's new job posting feature, you can write job descriptions effortlessly and get your job in front of the right people using deep candidate insights. Quality matters. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn say it helps them find top talent. Join over 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire only on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. I talk to you about Miller Time all the time, but we're in the wintertime right now, and one of my favorite pastimes is to crack open a Miller Lite and enjoy myself some Miller Time during the wintertime, because when there's a brisk chill in the air, it just makes everything right. My friends and I who live down here in South Florida can actually sit outside because it's not super muggy. We can thoroughly enjoy our Miller Time together. And for you listening, I know there's a lot of things going on right now. Sports, chief among them. Nothing more important than sports. From basketball and hockey to game night, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. Now's the perfect time for friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time! And you know Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and at just 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces, Miller time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.